fragment of a story.
This is just the beginning.
So you can see that SBS has changed enormously over the years from what was just one TV channel and one radio channel to now we've got 2 radio networks, 4 TV stations and a hell of a lot online and obviously on all the other platforms. But not only has SBS changed, but Australia's demography has changed enormously over the years as well. When you look at our immigration waves over the last couple of decades, we now have more immigration in this country than ever before. You think about the European migration, our first wave in the 1950s, and then in the 70s we had our Asian migration with the Vietnamese in the mid-70s, and then more recently in the 90s our Middle Eastern migration into the country, and then of course today our highest wave is really driven from Africa and mostly China. More than 25% of all Australians today in our population were born overseas. It's a pretty staggering number, with more than 50% of us in Australia have either 1 or 2 parents that were born overseas. We're certainly one of the world's most successful multicultural countries. But over the years, with all these changes in demography, we really have to look at our cultures and the landscape that we are now in. We've got more people from more places than ever before. We've now got 4 times the number of languages being spoken in Australia than we had when SBS was first formed 35 years ago. And it certainly makes our job a lot more complicated. And a quarter of us speak a different language other than English at home. In Australia now, you'd be surprised to know we've got something like 270 different cultures in this country. And that all, of course, leads to a much more or greater complexity in our cultural makeup. But with all this change, SBS, I think, is certainly far more relevant today than it ever has been, and our job is certainly far from over. So, with all this, what is our job? What is our job in Australia? Our purpose that we say at SBS is simply this: to inspire all Australians to appreciate the world's diversity. And we do that for a simple reason of social inclusion and cohesive society. So that's our purpose, and that's what we aim to do at SBS. But with all the changing media landscape where audiences' attention is really hard to get, content costs are up and productions are up, multi-channels are increasing for competition for our audiences' attention, and we really need to cut through all this clutter. I certainly believe that one way to do this is for us to really focus on our niche. What is our niche product? What is our service offering that we provide for us to really stand out from the crowd if we're to make a difference? Using social and digital media has made a big difference for us in being able to connect with our audiences in certainly new and different ways than we ever have before, allowing us to really deepen the relationship